Back to this Rutherford's model, which has been improved by the Bohr's model, and Bohr could derive the expression for the radius of various orbits, the velocity of the electron in the various orbits, and also he derived the expressions for the energy of the electron in the various orbits or energy of the orbits also. So we can consider this these properties. This is for hydrogen atom, for hydrogen-like atom or hydrogen-like species, we can say. I will explain what is meant by this hydrogen-like species afterwards. For the first orbit, of hydrogen, the value for the first orbit of the hydrogen. The first property that we consider is the radius. For the hydrogen atom, we can write the radius of the nth orbit is equal to radius of the first orbit, that is R0, into into n square. Into n square. Suppose you consider the first orbit, R0 will become equal to Rn. So 1 square into R0 is equal to Rn. First orbit R0. Then for the hydrogen-like species, we can write this as Rn is equal to R0 into n square by z. Suppose you consider an atom which consists of only one electron, an ion containing only one electron. For example, if you consider this helium ion, helium atomic number is 2, but in this He plus 2 there is only one electron. So any such electron, an atom or ion containing only one electron is called as the hydrogen-like species. Similarly, when you consider this lithium with plus 2 charge, atomic number of lithium is 3. But when 2 electrons are lost, it will have only 1 electron. Similarly, beryllium plus 3, boron plus 4, carbon plus 5, if possible. So all such species are called as the hydrogen-like species. Then R0 value for the hydrogen is found to be R0 is equal to 52.9 picometer. In terms of picometer, it is 52.9 picometer. Or we can also write this as 0.529 nanometer. 0.529 nanometer. Then in case of this second property, that is energy. Energy of the orbit n is equal to E0 value into n square by z square by n square. Z square by n square. Z square E0 divided by n square for this hydrogen atom. For the hydrogen-like species, we have this E0 is equal to En is equal to E0 into z square by n square. When you substitute n is equal to 1, and for hydrogen atom z is equal to 1. Therefore, we have this E0 is equal to En. The energy of the first orbit of the hydrogen atom will be equal to minus 2.18 into 10 to the power minus 18 joule. Minus 2.18 into 10 to the power minus 18 joule. Here you just observe there is a negative sign in this energy value. Suppose you consider this energy as a negative one. To explain the negative property, a negative value of this energy, when an electron is present isolated, when it is far away from the nucleus, there is no any stability of the electron. But as it approaches the nucleus, there will be increase in the stability by releasing the energy. So in thermodynamics, we consider anything that is lost as a negative value. Energy released is also a negative value. So in that first orbit of the, suppose this is nucleus and this is the first orbit of the hydrogen. When an electron comes to this first orbit, there is an attraction between the nucleus and the electron, and there is also the movement of the electron due to which it is having the centrifugal force. Centripetal and centrifugal forces are balanced. Because of this balancing of centripetal and centrifugal force, the energy is, or electron is stabilized. Because of that one, it has certain energy. So it is minus 2.18 into 10 to the power minus 18 joules. Then the third property is velocity. When we consider velocity of the electron in the first orbit, in the nth orbit, it is given as V naught divided by n. For the hydrogen-like species, we can write this as Vn is equal to V naught into Z by n. But for the electron in the first orbit of the hydrogen atom, velocity is found to be 2.18 into 10 to the power 6 meter per second. So using these values, we can also calculate the energy of the electron or the radius of the orbit, the velocity of the electron in the various orbits like that. Okay. So Bohr, based on his model and also angular momentum, that is equal to mvr is equal to, I told you, angular momentum of an electron in the particular orbit. This is mvr, where m is mass of the electron, v is velocity of the electron, and r is the radius of the orbit. This is equal to n into h over 2 pi. And also by using the centripetal and centrifugal forces which are balanced with one another, he could derive the expression for the radius of the orbit, the energy of the electron in the various orbit, and also velocity of the electron in the particular orbit. So these are all about the properties of the electron or orbit or the atom. Now let us consider the next topic, limitations of the Bohr's model. Limitations of the Bohr's model. Even though it satisfactorily explains the hydrogen spectrum, there are certain limitations which we cannot explain by considering the Bohr model. First limitation of the Bohr model. Limitations of the Bohr model. The first limitation is it does not explain multi-electron system or multi-electron system or atom. So it considers only velocity, energy, etc. only in case of the one electron system. And second one is, it satisfactorily explains the hydrogen spectrum, but it does not explain when the same spectra is subjected to analysis by using high resolving power spectroscope. So when high resolving spectroscope is used, instead of a single line in the spectrum, there is a group of lines. Say for example, I am considering this Balmer series. I'll explain here. Balmer series. Balmer series is actually observed in case of the transition between various energy levels to second energy level. If you consider this first line, so we observe that this is energy level 3, this is energy level 2. So when the electron comes from third energy level to the second energy level, it is called first line in the Balmer series. But this line is considered as a single line when we use a low resolving spectroscope. But when we use high resolving spectroscope, Instead of a single line, it consists of various lines or group of lines. This we cannot explain by considering the Bohr's model. So this is one limitation. The same thing we can say in presence of magnetic field. In presence of magnetic field, this is called Zeeman effect. Zeeman effect. And in presence of electric field, it is called Stark effect. Stark effect. So each single line splits into group of lines. As I told you, in case of this spectrum, hydrogen spectrum, we observe one line for each transition between 2 to 1, 3 to 2, 4 to 3, like that. But in presence of the magnetic field or electric field, each line splits to give rise to the splitting of the lines. So this is actually consisting of group of lines is called as the fine spectrum. Fine spectrum of the hydrogen or atoms cannot be explained by considering the Bohr's model. And there are two more things that we cannot explain by considering the Bohr's model. One is the de Broglie's hypothesis. De Broglie's hypothesis. The next one is Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. So these we cannot explain by considering the Bohr's model. What are these de Broglie's hypothesis and Heisenberg's uncertainty principle? We will explain we will consider in detailed explanation in the next video.